Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy XIII walkthrough. I'm in the midst of figuring out what's going on with my Movie Maker software here, so it's looking so far so good, so we'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna have to, I'll make this one fairly short like the last one. I think it'll end up being like 15 minutes or something like that. Anyways, alright, so what do we got here? I think this first battle is with the Bulwarker. Now these guys, well, there's a fight coming up, and I don't remember if it's this video or if it's the next. And it very well may end up being the next one, but we do have one coming up where it's kind of special, and there's one of the enemies that's considered missable. So you know, I'll point that out once we actually get there. But Bulwarker's not too difficult. Obviously, we've already got him staggered, and he's not going to be living much longer. So. We'll be putting the nail in the car. There we go. Alright, and alright, so what do we got here? I think on this area, this is technically considered the, I think this is Eden, and this is the Grand Prix circuit. That's the name of this area. And we've got two treasure spheres. One that we passed up. So we'll have to do a little bit of backtracking to grab that. Not too much. We're pretty much there. But then there's this one, and I think this is a ton of cash. Yeah, 9,240 gil. So that's a pretty substantial chunk of change there. And now we have to go back and grab this other treasure sphere. Get out of the way, Vanille. Get out of the way, crazy. So their treasure sphere actually has the lion heart in it. Now this is another fairly unique weapon. Yeah, I guess we have to fight over it first. But anyways, the lion heart. I don't know. I'm torn on whether I like it or not. I didn't end up using it this playthrough. Now what it actually does for you though is instead of staggering right at the threshold like you know, a normal enemy here, or you know, we'll just say a weak one has a stagger point of, you know, 200%. Okay, and for easy math, I'm just gonna do for easy math. We'll just say theoretically, and there's actually, I don't believe, a single enemy in the game, so this is probably a horrible theoretical, but. Theoretically, if an enemy was to have a stagger point or threshold of 1,000, if lightning was to land a damaging attack above the 900% point, it would automatically stagger. So it would, like I said, it staggers enemies at 90% of the stagger meter instead. So that's what it does, and I guess we'll talk about that a little bit more after the cutscene here.
Okay, I don't know about this.
If only we could fly.
We can jump.
Huh? What are you?
Nothing to it! See you ground side.
Wait a minute! You're all crazy!
Don't want to get left behind, do you? Just remember, don't drop the gizmo.
Bang! This thing? Okay! You could have warned me!
That's how they get around on Cocoon.
That's how light gets around.
Let's go. Right.
Alright, so anyways, Lionheart again. So like I said earlier, it staggers at 90%. Now, so the interesting thing about that is it becomes more useful the higher an enemy's stagger threshold is. So if you're looking at something like, you know, these corpse defenders, these guys are at 120%. So, you know, it's not going to do much for you there. Not much at all. But, again, on an enemy that's got, you know, close to 1,000, which there's so few in the game that have a stagger point that high. But, you know, again, the higher that stagger percentage is, the better or the more useful that weapon is. So, long story short, I'd say, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you can always try it out, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's as simple as that. But you know, the good thing is at least it does synergize fairly well with Lightning in that, you know, I feel like her Ravager role is her strongest role, and I do feel like that's she is the best Ravager in the entire game. I don't think that anybody else really can, you know, do what she can do with that role. So anyways, I guess that's my 2 cents. Like I said earlier, I didn't end up using the Lionheart this time around, but you know, it's not a bad weapon, that's for sure. And I guess kind of an interesting combo with that with the Lionheart is actually if you equip, or if you like to use the stagger lock weapons on anybody else, you know, typically they have really good growth, those stagger lock weapons, but, you know, the detriment is that character can't stagger the enemy. Well, the great thing about that is, you know, we'll just say in a battle where, we'll just say that you've got 2 characters with stagger lock and lightning with the Lionheart. Now, normally, you know, if you had Lightning, you know, doing something like in the medic role or synergist while the other 2 were, you know, hacking away at the monsters, there's potential that they would hit that threshold and then not actually be able to stagger because of stagger lock. You know, so that's something that very well could happen. I don't know how often that would happen, but probably not very often.
Stay sharp! Move! Through here! Station secure! Cavalry, stand down! Eden's under our jurisdiction.
But anyway, so in that scenario, you know, if you had the 2 characters with stagger lock weapons and lightning with the Lionheart, well, it's highly unlikely that those other characters are going to be kind of held back by that stagger lock if lightning is able to land, you know, an attack on that enemy, just because, well, they will be staggered, you know, at that 90% threshold until, or you know, so I don't know. Again, it's an interesting weapon. Again, I don't know how many times you can honestly say that would, you know, that would end up happening, or I should say, how many times a stagger lock weapon actually prevents you from staggering. I can't imagine it's all that often, unless, you know, you've got all 3 characters. And even if it was the case, I don't know how much that would really affect your game, frankly. So, you know, maybe it's all about splitting hairs here, but you know, I guess I never really found it to be that much of a detriment anyway. But, you know, the argument could be made. So, anyways, this is the battle I was talking about earlier. This is the Bulwark, and then I don't remember if these are Psycom soldiers or if these are Sanctum. I think these guys might be Sanctum something. Anyways, so what they do is, if you notice there, both of them threw out a targeting beacon, and we're going to want to use Libra on said beacon. It looks like I have to use it one more time because I've still got some question marks here on the immunities. But anyway, so this targeting beacon is missable. It's technically considered a missable enemy. So, again, if you're trying to get a complete data log, you know, make sure that you let these guys throw them out. All right, so Sanctum Seraphs. I think they're both the same enemy too. And we will be fighting a ton of these, so it's not actually not really something that we have to you have to worry about using Libra on them. Now the Bulwarker, on the other hand, I don't know if we'll find any more of those later. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But anyways, like I said, I guess I would recommend make sure you get that targeting beacon again if you're trying for that 100% catalog. If not, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, anyways, all right. So that's pretty much all I have to say, I guess, about that. Not much else to this fight. It's fairly easy. I actually used the what was that? What's the medic? The medic. What was that? Sentry and then another medic. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oofda. All right. Combat clinic. Jeez, I don't know why I was throwing such a blank there. Anyways, I just used that right away, just so that my characters wouldn't kill off the Seraphs and the Bulwarker. Because you know, otherwise that's the issue with this fight is if you take down those enemies too quickly, and then you're not able to, or they're not able to throw out that targeting beacon before you kill them off. Now the other thing is that actually, now that I think about it, I think the next area coming up here, you can travel between the next area and this area, and that might respawn the enemies. So if you accidentally killed everything off, and you don't want to have to reset your game, well, I think it's okay. I think you can actually, or you can travel. Actually, I think you can travel back to the beginning of this area. And then there's a save point, and then you just have to save and reload your game, and it should pop the enemies back up here. So, again, if you accidentally killed everything off, well, don't worry about it too much. I'm sure you can, like I said, save and just respawn them, reload up your game. All right. Anyways, let's jump in here.
So the cavalry's here to,
They're here for Orphan. If it's close to the Fal'Cie Eden, they're probably headed for the heart of the Sanctum.
Right. And if they destroy it, bad things are gonna happen.
So long, Cocoon.
Then we better get there before they do. Damn straight.
Uh-oh.
Let's move!
Alright, so this fight I actually end up having to retry, and that is because I let lightning get a little bit too low, and then when this guy stood up, he gets a huge buff, or a pretty significant attack power buff. And then he's got an ability called Sunder, and it absolutely destroys me. So I'll actually end up redoing this battle, and the actual victory will be in the next video. But anyways, I gotta cut it here. Again, I'm having some intermittent issues with the Movie Maker software here, so I'm trying to keep these videos small until I figure out what's exactly going on. I might just have some corrupted files here or something. We'll see. But anyways, I hope this guide was helpful, and I hope you keep joining me for more. Alright, thanks for watching.